Hi, friends. It is Sunday, May the 3rd, and so happy to be here with you. This email will go out, or this video will go out in an email on Monday the 4th. I hope it finds you well. Hope you maybe got out this weekend. It was pretty out there and just a great weekend. Hope you got out and spent some time in the yard. I know we cleaned up our yard and worked pretty hard out there. So anyway, things we're not even approaching normal, but I'm glad we're at least making some first steps towards that. And so there's a couple of things I want to visit with you about today. Number one, the steering committee did meet last Wednesday, and we're going to meet again this coming Wednesday. And we are going to have our May meeting. We're going to have our May meeting. Now, we haven't decided whether to go outdoors, indoors, large, small. All of that is still being discussed. I know Joe was chasing down whether or not the Hampton Inn was going to be open to allow us in, and whether or not the Hampton Inn lets us in. We have an outdoor place that's absolutely beautiful on private property that's been offered to us, and we may that may be what we do. However, here's what we're going to do. We need your help. So I'm going to be putting a survey together in the next few days, and it will go out to our local members. So if you don't live around here, if you live in Iowa or Illinois or somewhere like that and you're watching this, you won't get a copy of this survey. But for the rest of you who live around here and are members of the Fredericksburg Tea Party, you will get a survey in your mail, in your email this next week. And I want you to, I'm begging you to go to that and answer the questions on the survey, because we don't want to plan for a huge meeting and only 3 people show up, or plan for a small meeting and have 65 people show up. We just don't really have a good temperature about where everybody is standing and feeling about gatherings these days. So I'm going to send out a survey that'll be real specific, and it'll kind of list a set of circumstances under which you would attend the meeting. So we need to know that. So please, when you get that survey later this week in your email, please take just a couple of moments to fill out that survey. All right, on to the next subject. Our part of our steering committee meeting was focused on the upcoming legislative session that starts in January of 2021. And yeah, I know that's a long ways off, but we're planning now. In fact, different grassroots organizations have already started planning. I know that Rachel Malone with Gun Owners of America is already offering online type courses or information for the next legislative session, so it's not too early. In fact, now's a good time to make that commitment that you are going to participate in our trips to Austin, where we actually have the opportunity to influence our legislators, to speak in front of committees and let them know where we stand. And so this is a good time to be planning for that. So get that on your 2021 calendar. January 12th is the first day of the session. That's the day of the big party. Parking's free, and there's always good barbecue. I think the governor buys us barbecue every year. But anyway, put that on your calendar and decide now how much of your time, your energy, and your life that you're going to give to liberty and freedom here in the state of Texas. And just one aside, and I'll visit with you more often of this in the future. If you do not have your carry license, your handgun carry license in the state of Texas, I would ask you to please go ahead and start that process. And the reason for this is it makes it really quick to get into the Capitol. And rather than wasting, sometimes I've stood in line 30, 45 minutes to get into the Capitol because I did not have my carry license. And if you have your Texas handgun carry license, you bypass the long security lines at the Capitol, and you just scan your card and walk on in. So that is really would help us all if you could start working on that now. It's only supposed to take 60 days, but Sometimes it takes longer. So it doesn't hurt at all for you to go ahead and get going on that. So already, those are the two things. The next meeting, get ready for the 87th session. Get your license to carry a handgun. And by the way, talk to me about this. If you don't even own a gun, you don't even have to own a gun to get your license to carry. So we can discuss that, and that probably be a short topic in our next meeting, which, by the way, I didn't give a date for it. It's the second Thursday of May. It'll be the 14th. All right, so today I am very quickly, I'm going to point you to an article that John is going to put a link to on this email that you're receiving. There is a blog written by Tony McDonald, and a lot of you know Tony McDonald, and he has been here and spoken to the Tea Party on numerous occasions. The title of this blog that he wrote is "Let's Not Pretend This is Constitutional." And so in the second paragraph of his article, he says, some of these proclamations claim to suspend laws, while others purport to have the force of law, threatening Texans with fines and imprisonments for partaking in basic liberties of assembly and travel. But are they constitutional? And so he goes on then to tell us about the Texas Disaster Act of 1975, and it has been codified in Chapter 418 of the Texas Government Code. And he says that in there it says executive orders, proclamations, and regulations issued under that chapter have the force and effect of law. That's kind of interesting, because that is plainly unconstitutional. In a republic, laws are adopted through the legislature, not proclaimed by the governor or local officials. There is no authority to the contrary. In addition to issuing proclamations, Abbott has also suspended various laws, which says the governor may suspend certain laws and rules, and that's in Texas Government Code 418. However, Article 1, Section 28 of the Texas Bill of Rights plainly states that only the legislature can suspend laws. And by the way, this concept of suspending laws, it was the very first complaint mentioned in the English Bill of Rights in 1689. So this is nothing new. This is nothing new. Those that have power very often abuse it. The thing to keep in mind, and I need you to go and read this article because I'm already going way longer than I wanted to. I need you to go and click on this article and read more about this. And here's a real interesting thing that Tony says later in the article. He says, well, first of all, he says social distancing and quarantining may be well advised in these circumstances. He says, I'm a lawyer, not a doctor or a scientist. Secondly, there is a difference between authority and power. Just because these current orders are not authorized doesn't mean that government agents don't have the power to fine or imprison citizens for noncompliance. Folks, the Constitution is just a document. It is not self-executing. And in addition to our duty to support our neighbors in this time of need, we have a job in front of us, educating them about principles of liberty and law and order. We must not pretend these orders are constitutional. We must ensure that our neighbors and future generations remember that there are limitations on government power, and no virus can change that. I encourage you to read the rest of this blog written by Tony McDonald and to get a better feel for that. Folks, thank you for staying tuned. Thank you for listening, and looking forward to seeing those who we're going to see on Thursday, May 14th. And by the way, Hill Country Patriot Radio in the Hill Country, actually in Fredericksburg now, we got a brand new transmitter. So if you had tuned into 102.1 on your FM dial in the past and had a lousy signal in the Fredericksburg area, Please check it out again. We have a powerful signal now coming into Fredericksburg that is just sharp and clear as a bell. So check us out on 102.1. I'm on every morning from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. All right, folks, thank you very much. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.